All right, this is We the People News. One more time at it, okay? Never look straight forward. Always look around you. Be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. This educational only. Okay? Anything I say to do is just my opinion. Do your own research, okay? You're responsible for yourself. Unless you waive all your rights and give yourself to an attorney to speak for you without having first-hand knowledge. Not saying it's not a bad thing. You know, there's times when you need one, okay? But that being said, the best way is your way. What do I need to do? So this is with a heavy, heavy heart, okay? And this is in Texas, y'all. And I guess I'm gonna have to call my representative and be rude, and probably not gonna do a written down petition, but I'm damn sure gonna call them and gripe them out over this, and you'll see why here in a minute. But there's one thing I want to bring up when it comes about, and I'll stop there.
If you live in Fort Bend County.
Oh, by the way, never look straight forward. Always look around you. That way you can protect yourself by any means necessary. Arm yourself with knowledge. Use the Second Amendment. Okay? And if you feel this is true and correct, do it in writing. Petition. Anybody, anywhere can petition even other states' legislature. Now they just kind of throw it away. But if enough of us start doing these things in writing, we are still putting them in the people's court. Okay?
If you live in Fort Bend County and you happen to possess a purple gun or had possessed at one time a purple gun, you probably will get a visit from law enforcement.
Yes. Hopefully you reported said gun lost or stolen. Hopefully stolen. We are Arms Attorneys. Today we are talking to you about an extraordinary case in which a 10-year-old was arrested for firearm possession at a school. It happened right here locally in the greater Houston area. We're going to talk to you about the circumstances of the event, why it is so outrageous what the government has done, and finally, why you should be worried if you own a purple gun. But before we get started, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button. And welcome, Edwin Walker.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's good to see you. Our dearest friend Richard is on one of his many luxurious vacations, and normally we film around those, but it was too luxurious this time. We couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be gone for, 10 days or so?
Must be nice to be Richard.
Yeah.
All right, but this is a case of interest particularly for Mr. Edwin Walker, as it involves one of the bright, shining pieces of his world, children.
Oh, of course. Yes, and of course we always have to protect the children.
We do.
And we have to bend the knee to the children. Whatever is always in the best interest of the children. That's what we have to. Society must always only act within the best interest of the children.
Edwin has no children.
And that being said right there, of course I'm going to do this a couple times, right? Isn't that what this family courts say? And I'm bringing this up for you to think about here in a minute. Family courts always say for the best interest of the children. Let's proceed forward. Think about that one.
I love the kids, but Edwin's viewpoint is a little bit different. So, tell us what happened.
Well, it's very interesting because in this case we have basically zero tolerance policy runs into how we treat disabled children. What are we going to do? So, for those of you who may not be aware, I think there's actually been maybe some national news coverage of this.
Good.
Because it involves guns and children, of course. Well, a 10-year-old, now why is 10 years significant in Texas criminal law?
That is the minimum age of criminal responsibility in the state of Texas. If this had happened at 9 years old, can't do nothing.
Nothing.
Can't do nothing about it.
Nothing.
10. The day he turned 10, he was subject to criminal prosecution.
Yes, the day he turned 10, he became a subject of the state.
And this is what I wanted to get back to. Subject. Not one of the people, but subject. All right. These people just keep throwing these words around like they're nothing. But when you really sit and think about that, subject was beneath the king. The people are political power. We to instruct our government. We are the king of the government. We, are in control of them. We are not subjects. And we darn sure ain't subjects to the state. Allegedly. I'm not an attorney, not giving legal advice, okay? This is educational purposes only. Do your own research. But sit and think about this. They brought up the word subject.
Absolutely.
So
men's right activated.
So 10 years old, this child who does in fact, he supposedly has some learning disabilities. In fact, the Fort Bend County Independent School District has determined he has a learning disability, sends him to a special disabled school. Well, on his way to school one day, he finds a gun-shaped object that is painted purple. Now, of course, being a curious child, he picks up this purple object, puts it in his backpack, and takes it to school.
Well, I think he puts it in his pencil case. So that tells you
case.
Not only is it bright purple, it's little.
Sure.
It's little. If it fits in a kid's pencil case, like, we are not talking about something that would give anyone the impression, probably, especially at 10 years old with a learning disability, that it is a real firearm.
Sure, probably like a Glock 43 or something.
Little SIG P238s.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he picks it up, puts it in his pencil case, takes it to school. Other kids see it, and of course, in a very self-congratulatory manner, the school district says, "Thank God for our see something, say something policy," because the other children notified the authorities that this 10-year-old had, in fact, that purple object was in fact a firearm.
Yes.
And
okay. Now this thing, see something, say something. Where do you think we picked that up at, y'all? We picked that up from communist Russia. A kid, going back in history, right? A kid, because his father didn't believe in the communist Russia, and kind of spoke out on it, a little bit here and there, but it was behind closed doors and everything else. But the kid learned these things in school and called on his dad for not believing in the Russia kings, okay? And since it was a communist country at the time, they killed that kid's father. Why? Because the exact same words they said. See something, tell someone. Okay? The problem I have more of anything else, it's hearsay. Unless somebody actually signs an affidavit under penalty of perjury that they're a witness to it. But just to make a phone call and hang up, oh, you don't have to tell us. Well, where do you think they got that from? Russia. And I'm sure China and all them too. But Russia is really stuck in my head because for a long time, that kid legitimately killed his own dad. And then we go with family courts, right? Protecting the children. Then they turn around. The state says that we're going to have zero tolerance over a kid. Now, never mind that he's actually some form of special needs. It's any age of 10 years old or any offspring is 10. This is ridiculous. You're a subject. By the way, I'm led to believe and do believe that you're a subject the day you're born, but that's a side note. Once you become 10 years old, okay, well, if you're subject to the state, well, why can't he go out and buy a pack of smokes? Why can't he go buy alcohol? Now he's subject to federal crimes. You know what I mean? Why can't that 10-year-old go get a driver's license? So then think about the stupidity of our legislatures out there, you idiots. And then the prosecutor proceeding forward on this, you idiot. I'm going to try to find out, and I'm going to throw a bar grievance on his little dumbass. Pardon my language.
So, of course.
That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, the 10-year-old doesn't need to be in possession of the firearm.
Correct.
But it was very congratulatory the way they...
Yes. Keep in mind, though, and we're not criticizing the confiscation of the firearm. We're criticizing what, of course, has happened to this child since then.
Yes.
They have basically pulled the entire weight of the state of Texas behind themselves and said that they will prosecute this kid as a juvenile to the fullest extent of the law. And there has been some outrage, some backlash.
It's a felony.
It is a felony.
You are going to slap a 10-year-old with a felony?
You're going to send him to juvie, probably to TYC. For this, and they, of course, the backlash has been this child has learning disabilities. He did not know it was a gun. He had never even seen a real gun in his life. To him, it was just a purple object, perhaps a toy. Maybe he had seen a toy gun before, but I think the fact that it's purple is really playing into this. Also, turns out this child has dyslexia, and so I'm sure that he did not think it was a gun. Instead, he thought it was a nug. And of course, nobody has a problem with anybody taking a nug anywhere.
I do have a little bit of dyslexia. I had to say that was funny. That was just funny. I don't care who you are. I know it's a heavy subject, but you got to make light of heavy things sometimes. People, don't get butt hurt. That's cowardice.
That gets me.
Yes.
Dude, call who's representing this kid. Call his lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
I got buckle up, buckaroo. I got a legal defense for you.
Yes.
He thought it was a nug.
Yeah.
It's novel.
Yes. Well, and so this child's case is being pursued by one of Houston's local civil rights activists, Quanell X, and he's already had a press conference about it. And you know, the thing about it is that normally I think you and I would probably not find common ground with him, but we do on this issue, don't we?
We do. This is one of the few times my eyes do not roll so far in the back of my head they risk getting stuck when Quanell X opens his mouth on the news. One of the few moments. But I agree. This is an outrageous miscarriage of justice. And you mentioned this earlier, and this is really, I think, the major point, which is zero tolerance is not helping anyone.
No, zero tolerance is often used as an excuse to not use common sense.
Yes.
I cannot agree more on that. That's ridiculous. Zero tolerance is basically giving leeway for prosecutors to go full force and make up a bunch of crap. Basically, is all it is. And if you have an attorney, it makes their job twice as hard. Zero tolerance is crap. Legislature, you blanket idiots.
Yeah.
With USAA Auto Insurance, you can file a claim faster than...
No! How did you get in here again? How'd you get in here?
Yes. I mean, and these are, at the end of the day, and this is the extreme example, but these are children. You remember we had that girl not too long ago who, she just had the handgun, she was just a farm girl, and she had the handgun in her car, and someone saw it. She went from the farm to school, parked in the school parking lot, handgun was left in the car because she had had it on the farm. Some kid walked by and saw it, and they prosecuted her for a felony.
Yeah.
Which was, again, outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Well, again, we're going to go back 10 years as subject to the state? Huh. Oh, by the way, family courts was all about child safety. So I'm telling you right here and now, even family courts, if that's the case, maybe CPS ought to go after the prosecutor in this of child abuse. Maybe CPS ought to go to the legislature due to the law and press child abuse. And I don't even like CPS. Anyway, the story goes on. Go to armed attorney, okay, and check this out and get the whole video, okay. But I just wanted to kind of bring this up to your all's attention. This is ridiculous. Check with your own state if they have the same thing, and you guys start calling your representatives. Some of these things is just so far out of control and ridiculous that they're trying to make everybody criminals. Everybody. Just sit and think about it. Not using your blinker makes you a criminal, because state of Texas makes it a crime for you not to use your blinkers. All right. This is We the People News. Bye, y'all.